please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Let's get more stocks on board then. HDFC has posted its highest growth in the individual loan book this quarter. Here's more from Ritu Singh's chat with Keki Mistry, the Vice Chairman and CEO of the company.
First of all, we got approval to raise 13,000 crores. Out of that 13,000 crores, we've done a private placement. Not done. We've agreed on a private placement of 11,104 crores, which is largely to overseas institutional investors, and there is one domestic institution in that, domestic investor in that. Out of the money that we receive, a large part of the funds will be used for investing in HDFC Bank. So out of the 13,000 crores, when we finally raise the money, 8,500 crores will go into investing in HDFC Bank just to maintain our stake in the bank. After all, the stock option dilution takes place. And then we said we were looking at funds for a variety of other purposes. So we've said we would like to look at health insurance. It's not something we actively, we were actively doing in the past, but it is something we would like to actively do in future because we believe that the market growth for health insurance in India can be very large. And that would be done through a separate company. The other thing we said we would look at is stressed assets. Now, stressed assets how would stressed assets work? It's not that we would buy stressed assets within HDFC, but HDFC has core competence to identify housing. I mean, housing is a core business. So we can identify projects which are under some degree of stress, acquire those projects in an incomplete stage, entrust the completion of the construction to a good developer, give it the HDFC brand, and therefore be able to sell it at a higher price.
Okay, let's talk about some more stocks now and stocks that will react to their numbers. Our research team is here with that list. Anuj, first, what are you looking at?
So, Sonia, again, there could be second half market risk, but, large caps and largish mid caps is what you should look at. For me, I think one of the stocks of the day today could be TVS Motor. It comes out with its numbers today, and why I point out TVS Motor is that its market positioning is very light. I know that it was up 2% yesterday, but it's corrected 10% from its highs to its 100-day moving average. And we've always been talking about Eicher Motors as the favorite stock. FII ownership in TVS Motor has risen steadily from 12% to 21%, all at the expense of the retail shareholders. And this also a bit of a rural theme, which may not fall too much ahead of budget. So I think for me, that would be the stock to track this morning. The other stock is a nifty stock, UPL. It bounced back after a brutal correction. The problem here is it's trading at 20 DMA, and there's a risk of 20 DMA halt, also 2% within the 200-day moving average. But if you take out the 200-day moving average, then that could be an interesting point to watch out for. Big delivery buying yesterday as well.
Okay, well, last 2 quarters, TVS has been delivering on margin, so let's see if this time is the same or not. But Lata, the PSU banks is something you're watching today?
No, I don't think it's only the PSU banks. It's just we have to see whether the yields rise further. The markets had not factored in 7.62. When Indian markets closed, the yields were much lower. The old 10-year 7.5 and 7.55, and the new 10-year was lower than 7.4 in terms of yields. So they will have to adjust to the new yield, and we have to see how whether the bond yields further sulk today. If they do, it's NBFCs, it will be realty companies, and as it is, there is a mid-cap sell-off. So the over-leverage, the JP Associates, all the GMRs, leverage stocks could get a further sell-off.
Okay, let's find out how TechM's numbers look this time. Naveen, over to you.
Strong numbers, Sonia, on both revenues as well as margins. In fact, margins is where the beat has come. So talking about the overall numbers, remember the dollar revenue growth, that has come in almost 2.5% higher. We were expecting a growth of around the 1.8, 1.9 mark. So that has been more or less stable, but the big beat has been on the margins. EBIT margins have come in at 12.6% versus an expected around 11.4, 11.5% mark. So a jump of close to 90 to 100 basis points. This has majorly come on the back of operational efficiencies that the company has been able to bring in. In fact, Credit Suisse, they maintain an outperform on the stock, and they believe that the turnaround has been clearly seen on the stock in both their telecom verticals and the enterprise business. That has been going strong for FY19 also. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. And now over to Ekta, a couple of stocks on your radar, Laurus and Wockhardt.
Yes, both will be reacting to numbers. Laurus Labs are expected to be in the red simply because there's a revenue decline, a profit decline of over 20% year on year. Wockhardt, the number that the street was watching out for closely, the revenue is flat this time year on year, but the margins have improved because of cost containment, but still margins are still around 4.6%, and we have the loss which is at around 40 odd crores this quarter for Wockhardt, and that continues, and it's widened on a sequential basis. I'm torn about how the stock would react, possibly in the green because of the margin improvement, possibly in the red because of the loss figure.
Okay, well, let's watch for that on the fence there. But Mangalam, Imami, no great shakes?
No great movements or something. I don't know what to say, Sonia, because the domestic volume growth, that one came in at 6%. We were working with a number of 12%. The revenue adjusted for GST up 10%. We were working with a number of 15%. So that miss on the top line led to miss versus our expectations on both the EBITDA as well as the net profit. What really stands out is that while their core business is doing well, Cash King revenues were down 19%, and that is a product which sells 100% via wholesale. So that explains the sort of weakness that all the managements have been talking about that we're seeing in the wholesale channel. So let's see what happens going forward. But currently, the wholesale channel is still not out of the woods.
Okay, Mangalam, thanks a lot for that. Stock was up yesterday, so let's see how it reacts. Relcom, a bit of a turnaround, Ranit.
So basically they exited their consumer facing business, which resulted in a sharp drop in their losses. If you see, the loss came around 130 crore versus 2,700 crore quarter on quarter, whereas the EBITDA and the revenue are quite flat. But you know, they came out with a press release saying that now the new business that will have only the enterprise business, the internet data centers, as well as the submarine cable network. And they also gave a timeline on the monetization of their assets, namely the spectrum tower as well as fiber and telecom infrastructure. And the asset monetization deal should close by March 2018. So on the back of this, can expect a slight gain on the stock today.
Okay, actually, if it closes by March 2018, there'll be a positivity on several banks as well, notably SBI, because they can write back the provisions that they have to make.
Okay, and let's find out what are the other results, the smaller ones that came out. Sonal, over to you.
Well, I have all good ones on my radar. I'll start with HSIL. The revenue was up 10%, majorly led by the building products division, where the revenue grew up by 16%. Even the margins there came in at 16.8% versus 16.6% last year. Balaji Mines, very strong set of numbers. The revenue was up 22%, majorly led by the amines division. Even the EBITDA was up 40% because the finance costs were lower by 34%. Expect that stock to be in green. Sundaram Finance, strong disbursement growth. The disbursements were up 46.5% on a year-on-year basis, and sequentially were up 27%. Even the asset quality was good. The gross NPA were at 1.74% versus 2% sequentially. Expect that stock to be in green. Nav Bharat Ventures, another strong set of numbers. The revenue was up 70%, and the EBITDA also grew around 400%. The EBITDA grew, but the profits were flat, mainly because the depreciation and interest costs were higher. The last result is Mahindra Logistics, good set of numbers again. The revenue was up 17%, and even the EBITDA grew by 43%. Back to you.
Looks like Sonal has given a birthday gift to Anuj. All green stocks. Okay, Nigel, more stocks on your radar?
Well, yes, Lata, we're looking at a few stocks. Moil, we're looking at that one because the board will be meeting on February 5th. They're going to be mulling a buyback, so that'll be quite important because they're sitting on a cash reserve of around 2,400 crores. We'll keep an eye out on that one. The other stock we're looking at is Esther Industries. They have entered into a long-term agreement with Shaw Industries. That's a US-based firm, and in fact, it's a subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway. So keep an eye out on this stock because, in fact, the order that they've received is from the specialty polymer segment. That's the non-commoditized part of their business. It's a 90 crore order. Size is small, but in fact, scope is large. So expect that stock to open up in the green as well. And another small stock is Podar Pigment. So there, in fact, the company has sold roughly around 10 lakh shares in Hindustan Oil Exploration at a price of around 137 rupees per share. They still have another 45 lakh shares. I was just checking the disclosures, and that as well could be valued at nearly around 50 crores. For the time being, they'll be getting close to around 13 crores. That's more than 4% of its current market cap. Watch out for all these three stocks. Should open up in the green.
All right, thanks for that. Finally, Nimesh, the Polaris delisting offer begins today.
Yes, Sonia. So another IT company which will be in focus this week. So the delisting offer is starting today. It's ending on 5th of Feb. Watch out for that stock because, you know, the indicative price is at a low price of 380. The current price is around 415. But given the big run-up in the mid-cap IT stocks off late, I don't think anybody is going to participate in that delisting offer at 380 rupees per share. So next 4 days, it's a reverse book building. So everybody can put in their bids at the price they indicative, and accordingly, you know, they will decide on whether they want to accept or not. But I think, you know, the stock will be in green simply because it's a reverse book building. So every investor has a right to put in the bids at their price. So again, this is one stock to focus. 5th Feb is when the delisting offer ends.
Okay, thanks guys. Here's a quick recap now of our top stocks to watch. Expected to gain: TVS Motor, UPL, Tech Mahindra, Walmart, Reliance Communications, HSIL, Balaji Amines, Sundaram Finance, Navbharat Ventures, Mahindra Logistics, MOIL, Ester Industries and Podar Pigments. While stocks expected to be under pressure, NBFCs like Bajaj Finance, India Bulls Housing, LIC Housing, real estate companies like DLF, Oberoi Realty, Godrej Properties, as well as some of these leveraged stocks like JP Associates, etc.
SGX Nifty is indicating that we'll have a flat start this morning, 11 points down. Can that accentuate? That's something that we'll find out. Ashwini Gujral, Sudarshan Sukhani and Mitesh Thakkar now join us. Good morning, gentlemen. Ashwini, thoughts on how to approach trade today? Is it still a buy on dips market, or would you look to short the rallies today?
Good morning, Anuj. It depends, how the market opens. If we get a 150-point gap down with force, etc., then maybe the short trade may have played out. But for that, Asia should have been doing worse. So in case for some reason yield, etc., you get that 150-point dip on Bank Nifty, maybe 20-30 point dip on the Nifty, in this situation maybe you would like to buy. But at some point, Asia will also show follow through. So that is when the entire globe tops out. So that short trade will play out on that day. But till we have lukewarm Asian markets, I would think that all dips should be bought. But for me, I need a substantial dip to buy. I won't buy the 10-point dip on Nifty or Bank Nifty, etc.
Okay, well actually Asian markets are soft. We should pull them up for you. At the moment, Asian markets are starting with about 1% to about 0.5% cut, depending on which market you pick. That's how it is. It's not a huge sell-off, but it's clearly red on all screens. Sudarshan, good morning to you. What is your trade?
Good morning, Lata. Well, the market is in an uptrend, and we had lifetime new highs yesterday. So the trade is still to be on the long side of the market. And if you are long, and you should be, stay with your positions and keep a stop at 11,050. And we'll just hope that the stops are not touched. But for new entrants, somebody wanting to trade today, I think patience is the best reward. Wait patiently for at least a 30 to 40 point dip in the Nifty. I do not know if it will come about. If it does come about, that's an excellent buying opportunity. If it doesn't, then you have to step aside and just do nothing in the indices.
Okay, Mitesh, what about you? What's the call on the index now? And more importantly, ahead of the budget, what should the view be?
Good morning, Sonia. I think I would agree with Sudarshan in terms of levels. 11,050 is what I would look at as any kind of reversal point. So unless that is being breached, I think I would be a buyer. 11,090 is the first intraday support, so that becomes your buying zone. 11,050 becomes your stop loss, and 11,250 remains your target. I would be worried and possibly, be willing to exit long positions only if we start trading below 11,050 on a consistent basis.
Okay. Well, with that, let's come to the stocks. Ashwini, what are your picks?
See, HDFC Bank, if buying returns, possibly from lower levels, this is a buy with a stop of 1980, target of 2040. Ashok Leyland is a buy with a stop of 122, target of 134. But I think the bigger trade will be on smaller, mid-cap stocks which are listed in F&O, etc. Because after first couple of hours, again, a mid-cap sell-off is likely to happen. So my bigger gains are probably going to be on the sell-off that we will see in the smaller stocks. So Muthoot Finance is a sell with a stop of 425, target of 400. Adani Power is a sell with a stop of 39, target of 33. And BPCL is a sell with a stop of 475, target of 450.
Ashwini, no call on IT stocks, either large cap or mid cap?
See, mid cap IT yesterday by the close also started correcting. So I would think they could correct for a few days. Similarly, large cap IT is also having basically vertical charts. If you look at CNX IT, even that is not even correcting towards 20-day moving average. So everything needs to cool off a bit to give you good risk reward. So I don't think there's great buying opportunity in the market right now.
Okay, Sudarshan, good morning. You have a IT stock, of course, on your list. Run us through the entire list.
Yes, I have an IT stock, but before that, I'll tell you about the US dollar. And my sense is that at least for the rupee USD, the USD is now bottoming out, which means that this is a trading opportunity to buy the USD against the rupee. That's a trade that we have taken. Okay. Mindtree is the buying opportunity here. There are a lot of stocks among the IT sector which are still showing signs of momentum. Mindtree had a 4-day consolidation, and I would expect it to break on the upside again. Raymond's is another buying opportunity. A 2-week consolidation after a stupendous rally tells us that it's ready for an up move. And finally, Titan, an earlier erstwhile favorite, has been in a trading range. A small flag-like formation tells us another big move here is coming. So 3 buying ideas, and I would focus on them. Intraday short selling opportunities also exist. NBCC has been falling relentlessly day after day, and there's a short sell there intraday. And Reliance Infra, which had that massive vertical rally and then stalled. All the group stocks had stalled, and now it's falling. So that there again a short sell is possible. I do not think that this market is, anticipating any big news from the budget. So there is going to be very little discounting of bad news. We are all prepared for whatever happens. This market should be going up.
The market should be going up. Mitesh, you have a lot of auto stocks on your list today. Take us through that, and what else do you like?
Yeah, a couple of auto names and actually 2 short or sell calls after a long time. I have a buy on HUL to begin with. That's a swing breakout. Keep a stop below 1380. Look for targets close to 1430. Kaveri Seeds is a sell. It's broken key support levels of 510, 508. So keep a stop at 516. Look for declines to what levels of 478. Maruti was a buy yesterday as well. Clearly positive news. Good chart setup. Intraday signal is very positive. So even now can be bought with a stop at 94.90 for targets close to about 9900. And Bajaj Auto is also a buy call. I would want to see it get past 3385 levels. By then, keep a stop at 3340. Look for targets of 3460. And PTC India is my final sell call. It's broken key supports at 110 levels. So keep a stop at 111 and look for targets of around 103 on the downside.
As we told you, TechM results is what we're going to analyze. Posted a strong quarter actually. Ravi Menon of Elara joins us on the phone line with his take. Ravi, good morning. Thanks much. It seems to be even a better performance than many of its peers. What is your key takeaway from the stock, and have you revised the price target?
Yeah, I was actually surprised, not by the revenue momentum, but from where it came from. It was primarily led by BPO, and they also had an IP acquisition that contributed some revenue. So the IT services itself did not really contribute much to growth. So we would wait to see if the BPO momentum persists, or if they can see a revival in their core business. And the verticals too. We are looking at communications continuing to have fairly sluggish growth. So we worry that they cannot sustain this revenue momentum or match peer group growth, and they are significantly below peer group margins even after the substantial margin recovery that they've shown. They've also restructured a large portion of the IT services workforce, from about 82,000 at the peak, and over 3 quarters that's now down to about 73,000. So this could put a structural pressure on the wage, going forward. So we have been negative on Tech Mahindra. We continue to be negative, but we've revised our price target upwards from 440 to 490 based on the significant cost restructuring that they've undertaken. That's delivering better margins than expected.
Okay, 490 is much below where the current market price is. So what kind of growth would you expect to see for Tech Mahindra compared to some of the other players? Because, the stock has outperformed its peers quite a bit. It's up almost 60% in the last 6 months. What would your pecking order be now that all the companies are out with numbers?
So our first preference is HCL Tech, where we think the IP acquisitions have been perceived as some akin to buying revenue, but we don't believe that's the case. We are looking at synergy from that from those IP acquisitions to start propelling their growth next year. And we also think TCS with its large deal wins has got very good visibility. They also have Japan as a geography they invested in that others have not got much exposure to. So we think these two have very good visibility for growth. We're also positive on Wipro, where we think a growth revival is on the cards. They've given a pretty strong guidance despite a client-specific issue from a pretty large client for the next quarter. So this is our pecking order within the large caps. Infosys, we will wait to see how they what the new strategy is for differentiation. The platform strategy under Vishal Sikka, we think that will probably be on the back burner now that the leadership team for the platforms division has also departed with Sikka. So Tech Mahindra is our least preferred among the large caps.
Oh, right. Thank you very much, Ravi Menon, for your analysis of Tech Mahindra vis-a-vis its peers. With that, we have to shift focus to the F&O space. Vinod Sharma of HDFC Securities has joined us. Good morning, Vinod. So what are you trading among the nifty stocks today?
Yeah, good morning, Lata. When you're speaking from the city of joy, you ought to have all the buys as usual. So the best pick that I like among these stocks that I have to pick or recommend today is Reliance Industries. That stock has seen a high of 990 and therefore it is consolidated at a level at which it gave a breakout. So I'm in case of Reliance, I'm buying the 980 call at around 24, stop loss at 18 and target of around 35. Another large cap which looks good is IndusInd Bank. Mind you, this is again a bank which has underperformed its peers, the private sector banks, and is now ready for a breakout. So in IndusInd, I'm recommending to buy the 1760 call at around 25, stop loss at 19 and target of around 38.
Okay. Well, you have a couple of other nifty stocks as well. Tata Steel for one?
I have. Yeah, I have Tata Steel as well. Now, Tata Steel is at 10-year high. And you don't need to fix it something which hasn't broken as yet. So I think it will go on to add further strength. 8% OI has been added yesterday and 2% the stock was up in the new series. So I'm buying the 800 call at around 19, stop loss at 15 and a target of around 28. Another large cap auto stock is Bajaj, where we feel 6% OI was added, 2% the stock was up, and the RA60 news may be coming any moment, but that's not the reason for the buying. So I'm buying the 3,400 call at around 90, stop us at 60 and a target of around 140. But another stock, there's one more stock, Lata, is Bata. That is a stock which has taken support around the 700, 705 4 times in the last 2 months. So it has taken support and bounced back. So 7% OI added, stock minor up 1%. I'm buying the 720 call here with the stop loss at 26. 720 call at 26, stop loss at 21 and a target around 35.
All right, Vinod.